Hey gang, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Flint Hill Catfishing. Today I'm going to walk you through my fishing kayak. I have an Ascend 128T and I'm going to show you what I put on it that fits my style of fishing and hopefully you'll get something out of it. Hang with me. So let's take the tour. So a little bit of technical specifications. It's 13 feet long and it weighs 100 pounds dry weight. So it's a pretty heavy kayak and that's without anything on it. Like I said, dry weight. So mine's gonna look a little different than what you see stock right out of the store just because I've added bases for rod holders and all that kind of stuff in cameras. So ignore that and I'll walk you through it. So from the bow, you can see it's got a nice angle. It really planes up on top of the water well when you're heading into current or when you're picking up speed, when you're paddling, whatever. It does well like that. You got handheld, of course. You have, they put the bungees for some storage space here. You got two rod holders that are kind of worthless unless you're on the bank and fishing at night and just leave your rods in there. Got 8 scupper holes, 2 here, 2 here, 2 under the seat, 2 in the stern. Comes with a hatch in the middle here. And it's, again, there's some additional things. I added a flange here made out of some poly materials so I could raise it for a battery for a trolling motor, but ignore that. Hatch, you have a dry storage compartment here, unscrews, and there's a removable bag in there that keeps everything watertight. It's got some nice foam down here. It's pretty durable. I get it pretty dirty and beat it up a good bit. Right here you have rails on both sides of the kayak. For attaching accessories and things like that, electronics, whatever. You have the foot pedals here on rails. Pretty nice chair. It's 3 positions. You can see the tiers here. That's the lowest setting. That's the middle setting. There's the highest seat position. So I use in the highest generally. Walking on down, you got a huge hatch in the back. I mean, I got big hands, but that thing is probably 2 feet across, maybe 28 inches. And it's a big compartment. All this area is storage space under here. And you have some columns from the scupper holes here that go through. They take up a little bit of space inside the hull, but that's a pretty big storage area. Again, you got some bungee on the back here, and you can put coolers, whatever, back here. And then you have a storage hatch here for easy access on the back end. There's usually a handhold right here, but of course I got my trolling motor there. I put 2 on each side here just to help me out a little bit, depending on which side I was on when I had to lift it. So all in all, it's pretty basic. It's not like a Mercedes-Benz. It's just a good standard kayak with a lot of deck space and a lot of room to customize and do it like you want. So I'll walk you through some of the things I put on real quick. All right, man, it's really windy. I think a storm's coming up, but I'm gonna walk you through my rod holders, what I'm using, and my camera holders, things like that I use for the videos. What I've put on, we'll start at the front. One thing I added was a light. It just makes it a lot easier to see when you're going down river at night. It doesn't go that far. I'd say it's probably 10 yards to 15 yards in front of me, but it gives me enough where when I'm pulling up to a boat ramp or something like that, I can see what I'm getting into. Also, I put, I had Scotty bases for everything. The reason I use Scotty is because I had a bunch of them on my other kayak already. So on this one, I just have a Scotty base, extension arm, and then this is a selfie stick that's telescopic that goes about 6 feet. I'll put a link in the description for the DIYs on those. They are awesome. I have one on the back too for my GoPro. This one is for my light, the one on the front. It comes out over way up here about 6 feet and it shines down on my seat so I can take better footage with it and get some good clips at nighttime without it being in my eyes and without bugs landing all over me. All of my rod holders are Scotty. I'll soon be changing these out to the bigger models. It's just hard with catfish rods. They don't fit in there good. It's already hard enough to get a rod out of the holder when a fish is on it and he's any size, but when the butt of the rod's fitting tight, it makes it pretty difficult. So I put extensions on all of them. These are about 8 inches, and it really keeps the rods, my big rods especially, where they don't come down and hit the bottom of the boat and they won't even stay in the rod holder. So they're kind of necessary. I know it looks sketchy, but they do not come off. Got one on that side too. Here is one of the Scotty attachments. It's just a rail, quick release rail mount for a Scotty holder. And this is one of the arms they sell that I jerry-rigged my transducer for my Garmin Striker 3 sonar. That's what I use for marking fish, and mostly for structure, finding structure and stuff. And sonar lives right here. And I wired that all through the hull and came up right here with the control cable, or the transducer cable. Right here in the middle, I'm changing this out to a Scotty base soon too, because I'm gonna use that for a light sometimes, so it's closer to me if I need to move it. So I'm gonna have one here for a light, and then that one up front for a light. But I'm gonna stick a Scotty base here. I have a Scotty base here, and this is my front-facing camera, which is generally my phone. So I can turn this guy when I catch a fish. I can turn it and angle it down so I can see the fish in the water or whatever, and be able to put it in the video. And it works pretty nice, and it's right within reach of my seat. The seat, I gotta say, the seat for a stock seat is pretty comfortable. I mean, you can buy some that are a lot more comfortable, but I mean, it's definitely decent. And I'd say a giant step up from what I was fishing in before, which was a 9-foot recreational sit-in kayak. This one, same kind of thing as my sonar attachment. I have the Scotty Quick Connect base, and I have a little mini rail here. And then I have the extension coming up. That's just to get it back from my seat so my head's not hitting it. And then I have another one of those telescopic selfie poles. And like I said, I'll stick a link in the description so you can check that out. I found pretty good video from a guy that makes these. Anyway, that's my GoPro. That goes up pretty high and gives me a good overhead shot of the whole boat facing, this way. It's kind of a nice shot when you're bringing fish in. And especially if I'm using wide angle, you can see a lot of it. This rod holder I have in the back, I usually have another one just like the other three that I have on here, but I've borrowed some parts for other things on my kayak. This usually lives right here, and that's where I set my bait rod that I'm using to catch brim or perch or whatever. So I always fish with 4 rods, so I have 4 rod holders for catfish rods. I also have the 5th rod holder, which is the bazooka style right here, and that's what I use for my bait rod, like I said before. That way it's right here, right by my seat, and it's just something I can grab. I can put it down really easily if I get a fish on and I just need to put it down real quick. So all in all, you see there's plenty of space to mount things on it, and there's 1,000 ways. Railblazer, Yak Attack, there's all kinds of different attachments and brands you can buy. It's just what I have on mine. So do your thing with it if you're setting one up, no matter what kind of kayak it is. All right, so I'm gonna walk you through my trolling motor and just the general overview. I'm gonna do a video on the install because it was a bit involved, and it's not rocket science, but a video would do it some justice. So I'll put that out there and you can check it out when I release that video. So watch out for that one. What I got going on, let me show you real quick. All right, so starting back here, you can see you got the normal transom mount. This is a Minn Kota Endura C2 30-pound thrust. And I went out when the river was high recently, and I was amazed at how well it did. So the 30-pound thrust, it's enough for me. So what I got going on, I have a quick release cable right here that attaches around this guy, so it'll actually drop down like so. Basic transom mount. Fabricated this guy out of stainless steel, mounted it to the hull. Transom mount, got the shaft about the right height where I need it, and then ran some all thread through here. Eyelets on the end, carabiners. This is to steer. So up front, all I have to do is push one of my foot pedals, and this guy steers. And it's really easy, really nice. This right here wraps around my release, so I jerk a triangle T-grip like thing I got up front, and it'll pull the motor up if I'm going down through a rapid. I don't want to tear it all to pieces or stop the boat in its tracks. So anyway, those lines come up front. I ran them through a pulley. There's a Harken pulley there and some pad eyes I got going down the sides. I got one on each side there, as you can see. So they come all the way up front, and they attach to my pedals, which I took the little red stops off of here that cause them to lock in place. So when you push one, the other one moves, and you're just steering it from the back. Anyway, that's the trolling motor. I love it. All right, so that's kind of the trolling motor. There's one other item that I had to put in line with this to make everything work right, which I'll discuss in that video where I break down how I installed the trolling motor. You see the head is removed, the tiller steering head that has all the electronics in it and the controls. I replaced it with this. It's just a waterproof box I got from, I guess, Academy years ago or something. I had it sitting around, and I put a pulse width modulator in here, which replaces the electronics and speed control inside of the tiller speed control head that goes on the Minn Kota Endura C2. It literally sits there just like that. I have some bungee that kind of bungees it to that pad eye right there. And that way I can just reach down, and I got forward and reverse. I got my ghetto magic marker there. Anyway, and that's the speed control on the right, that knob, and it's a potentiometer. Instead of using shunt like they do in the tiller head that usually comes on those stock, which shaves everything off in the form of heat, you waste a lot of battery power. And the potentiometer on a pulse width modulator is much more efficient. You get a much longer battery life out of it and a much more accurate speed control. I mean, I can control for catfish with this at a half mile an hour, whatever I want. Right here, I added one of these plugs, and one is for my battery that goes inside of the module here, and the other's motor control. This one already came pre-installed, and I'll tell you about that real quick. So on the Ascend 128, they didn't have this feature I'm getting ready to tell you about, but when they came out with the 128T, they added what they call Yak Power. All right, so here we have the Yak Power. This is what it is. It comes on board with the 128T. 1 and 2 are auxiliaries. The connections are underneath. You can hook whatever you want to those and run them around for a 12-volt source somewhere in here, lights, whatever you want. There's an outlet at the bow, there's an outlet at midship, and there's an outlet at the stern. So up here, I use B, which is the bow, to turn this light on and off remotely from my seat. Then you have midship here, which I disconnected that from the controller and used it for my purposes with the trolling motor since it was already there and I needed two. I bought this one aftermarket and put it in. And then you got one at the stern here, so if you wanted a beacon on the back of it, some type of light, to help people see you better, or whatever, you can plug whatever you'd like into that. So the Yak Power thing is a really cool feature. I mean, it's a nice addition to the Kayak. I think you could buy that whole system from Yak Power because they have their own website, their own company deal. And I think it's, I don't know, probably for 150, 200 bucks. I can't remember. I looked at it online one time, but you can buy the power module, controller, and the push button switch over here and all that stuff as a package. And they have tons of accessories and things like that you can just keep adding on until your boat weighs 1,000 pounds. So to wrap this up, the specs on the Kayak: 100 pounds dry weight, it's 13 feet long, and it's 32 inches wide at midship. All in all, it's a great boat. The only negative I would say about this boat that you need to be aware of if you've never kayaked a lot or something like that, and you might be a little skittish, or maybe you think you flip over or something. I don't have experience in a bunch of different kayaks of this size, but I know my friend Wesley Fail has a Jackson Big Rig, and he can stand up in his kayak and walk over the seat all the way to the back on the stern and not even be trying to balance. It's that steady, and he can do the same walking all the way to the stern. I mean, to the bow, sorry. If you do that in this boat, you are going to fall in the water. It is not like you see that guy that's all graceful. He looks peaceful out there fishing on this kayak. In the advertisement, it ain't gonna happen that way. It's not that stable. I'm a pretty agile guy, and I'm gonna tell you, it's not easy to stand up in. So, just one thing to be aware of. But for $800 price point, you can't beat it. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching. This is Brian with Flint Hill Cat Fishing. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.